This is the story of a murder so brutal and confusing that it shattered the peace of a quiet Virginia town. A crime scene soaked in blood, filled with strange symbols and almost no clues. And it is the story of one small-town detective who refused to let the case die even when his only suspects vanished without a trace. With the help of Interpol, his search would stretch across continents, uncovering a deadly obsession and a betrayal no one saw coming. Bedford County, Virginia. April 3rd, 1985. Just after 4 p.m., Deputy Ricky Gardner is driving back to the sheriff's office when a call crackles over the radio. A welfare check. A group of women has gone to the home of Derek and Nancy Hayes for their weekly bridge game. No one answered the door. What immediately unsettles Gardner isn't the call itself, it's how deputies report back. Instead of using the radio, they call in by phone. That only happens when something is very wrong. Moments later, the dispatcher orders all units to respond to the home immediately. When Gardner arrives, crime scene investigators are already there. Inside the front door lies Derek Hayes, face down in a pool of dried blood. His throat has been cut. He's been stabbed dozens of times. Judging by the condition of the body, he's been dead for days. Gardner follows a trail of blood into the kitchen, where he finds Nancy Hayes. Like her husband, her throat has been slashed. She, too, was stabbed repeatedly. The house is silent, but the violence is overwhelming. For Gardner, this is his first homicide investigation. Even to a young detective, one thing is clear: this wasn't quick, and it wasn't random. The victims fought hard for their lives. Neighbors report hearing nothing. No screams, no forced entry. Nancy's purse is untouched, full of cash. Robbery is ruled out almost immediately. Then investigators notice something deeply disturbing, what appear to be shapes drawn in blood. Rumors of cult activity spread fast, and fear grips the community. Forensic teams fumigate the house with superglue to reveal hidden fingerprints. Luminol exposes blood trails throughout the home, including in the bathroom. Bloody footprints, some in socks, others barefoot, suggest the killer moved freely through the house and even cleaned up before leaving. Despite mountains of evidence, investigators have no suspect. As pressure mounts, Gardner turns to the victim's family. Derek and Nancy Hayes were well-traveled, respected, and financially secure. Their children lived across the world. One of them, 21-year-old Elizabeth Hayes, stands out. She's brilliant, attending the University of Virginia on a prestigious scholarship. She tells Gardner she was out of town the weekend of the murders, visiting Washington, D.C. with her boyfriend, 19-year-old Jens Soring, the son of a German diplomat. At first, the alibi checks out. But then Gardner notices something strange. The rental car mileage is far higher than it should be, hundreds of extra miles. Elizabeth explains they got lost while sightseeing. She willingly gives fingerprints, blood samples, and footprints. None matched the killer. Then Gardner remembers Yen. At the memorial service, he had a bandaged hand. When asked to provide samples, Yen refuses. Days later, before he's scheduled to cooperate, Elizabeth and Yen disappear. They leave behind letters. Elizabeth urges her family not to look for her. Yen writes to Gardner, insisting they are innocent, but expressing regret that Elizabeth ever helped police. Now Gardner knows they didn't just leave. They ran. Interpol is contacted, but without enough evidence for an arrest warrant. The suspects keep moving across Europe, Asia, and beyond, using forged passports, fake identities, and stolen money. For 7 months, they vanish into the world. Then, in London, they make a mistake. A store security guard notices suspicious behavior. Police search their flat and uncover stacks of fake IDs, passports, and journals detailing their travels. Interpol connects the dots. The fugitives aren't just fraudsters. They're wanted for murder. Deputy Gardner flies to England. This time, Elizabeth breaks. She confesses the truth. She hated her parents for controlling her life. She convinced Yen that the only way they could be together was if her parents were gone. She planted the idea. Yen carried it out. While Elizabeth sat in a movie theater to establish an alibi, Yen drove back to Virginia. He was invited inside. A conversation turned violent. Derek Hayes was attacked and killed. Nancy followed. Yen washed up, left the house, and returned to Elizabeth covered in blood. At trial, forensic evidence confirms everything. Yen's footprint matches the bloody sock print. His blood is found in the bathroom. Elizabeth is convicted as an accessory and sentenced to 90 years. Yen Soring is convicted of double murder and sentenced to life in prison. They killed to stay together, and they will spend the rest of their lives apart.